The story of my life. Hello everyone, this will be a very sincere video as I want to tell you the story of my life for this year. I want to make a recap, remember what happened and what didn't, what I remembered this year. There were both good and bad moments. I got YouTube play button for 100,000 subscribers, played in front of a 200,000 crowd, almost lost my best friend. I was robbed, my social media were hacked, YouTube channel was stolen. But first thing first. Over this year I tried to make a lot of cool videos with cool music such as Metallica, Five Finger Death Punch, Static X, Amon Amarth, Children of Bodom, Deftones, Lamb of God, Bring Me the Horizon, Alter Bridge, Black Sabbath, Tool, Accept, Mastodon, Slayer, Nickelback, Alice in Chains, Motorhead, Led Zeppelin, Evanescence, The Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, Soundgarden, Anthrax, 100 Days of Tapping Challenge, guitar battles, a bunch of gear reviews, and I'm not going to stop. I wanted to make a collab videos with some big and famous YouTubers. I wrote Rob Scallon, Jared Dines, Frog Lip Studios, Ola England and other guys, but no one responded to me. I even sent a video for one of the Jared Dines contests, but I don't know if he watched it or I'm just not worthy to be noticed. You can watch it and draw your own conclusions. I wrote them several times, wanted to make some interesting videos for you guys, but there was just silence. No one has answered me. I understand that there are big YouTubers and I'm just no one for them. Another one no-name guy who wants to make a video with celebs. I understand everything, but there was a hope. I was mistaken. I know that feel when you're watching your favorite YouTubers and dreaming to make a video with them someday. You're full of hope and inspiration, trying to contact them to create something cool together, but only silence in response. And I made a promise to myself that if I'll become a big and famous YouTuber someday and someone write me with something like that, I'll always try to answer this person, because I know that feeling when nobody pays attention to you because you're small, your channel is small, you're no name for the big guys. Good news, I played at a huge festival in front of 200,000 crowd. The most interesting thing is that 10 years ago I already played at this fest, but on a small stage in front of 100 people, and now, 10 years later, I stand on the main stage, they show me on a huge screens and 200,000 crowd chants your name. It was an awesome gift for my birthday. The next good news was that my channel reached 100,000 subscribers and YouTube should have sent me a play button. I was very happy about it and waited impatiently, but after a few days I woke up in the morning and find out that almost all my social media are hacked. My email has been hacked, my YouTube channel was owned by someone else, and my Google account has been removed. The fraudster also stole my money from a PayPal account that I was saving for the purchase of a camera. I was shocked, and at that moment the courier calls me and says that he brought me the YouTube button. I'm taking it and should be glad of it, but there was a collapse on my face. I wasn't happy at that moment. I didn't even open the box to look at the button, and for about a month it was just lying and gathering dust. I started to recover access to all my accounts. Something was recovered immediately, but something wasn't. I wrote to support of PayPal that I was hacked and I didn't make any transactions. The fraudster robbed me. But PayPal rejected all my complaints and decided that there was no unauthorized access. Everything is good. I was shocked. Then I recovered my Google account, but my channel was already renamed. There were no my videos and the channel was owned by another person. Then the fraudster wrote to me and wanted me to pay him to return the channel. As a result, he sold the channel to someone else, and I wrote a bunch of emails to YouTube support explaining my situation, but it was all useless. I almost forgot to say that I have another channel, and it was it that was stolen, not this channel. And since the channel was stolen, I couldn't even write to YouTube support. I wrote them from this account and asked them to help me restore justice and return my old channel. For 3 months I received emails from YouTube support that the internal team is still working on my issue, thanks for your patience. Once they sent me email that my case was closed, but the channel wasn't returned. In general, I spent a lot of nerves on all of this. I also went to the police and wrote a statement about what happened. I spent hours at the police station and in the investigative committee and wrote reports, statements, but I was immediately told that the disclosure of such cases was less than 10%. That's it, no any hope for the police. Then I phoned PayPal by phone, told them the whole story again. They promised to check everything. I said that you have already checked and denied my claim, and you know what? They said that their system does this automatically, but now the security service will check everything manually. So my account was hacked, all the money was stolen, I opened a dispute and tried to support of this fact of fraud, and the system automatically rejects my request. That's how it works? Awesome! No. But fortunately, the next day I received an email from PayPal that there really was a fact of fraud and they returned all the stolen money to me. I was happy. I restored everything except the channel on YouTube, and I wasn't going to give up. In the end, I returned it, but I'll tell you a bit later how exactly I made it. All this time my best friend Ray had a tumor. Ray is my dog, who has been living with me for 10 years, and he's more than just a dog to me. He's my brother, my best friend, he's a member of the family. The tumor has grown for 3 years, and over the past year it has progressed strongly. Ray began to limp as the tumor grew under his paw and already began to stop him from walking, lying, sitting and even breathing. In my town there is no good veterinary clinic, so I started to drive him to another city which is about 200 kilometers from the place where I live. And we started to go there and take tests, do ultrasounds of the heart and internal organs and all other procedures. We needed to figure out whether it was possible to do the surgery. The tumor turned out to be benign, and we began to prepare for the surgery. My nightmare has just begun. After some time we went to the vet, but this time in order to get the tumor out. I met with the surgeon to tell me how everything will happen, and he told me that the tumor should be removed entirely, but there is a danger that he will touch the nerve and the paw will fail. In that case they will amputate his paw. After these words I turned pale and felt sick, my legs gave way. Then an anesthetist came and said that Ray would have a tube about 40 centimeters long inserted under the skin on his back, and an analgesic would be injected through it. That's it. Ray began to be taken from me, but he didn't want to leave and looked at me as if for the last time. He didn't understand what's happening, why we came here, what we're doing here, and where he's being taken. I could hardly hold back my tears. They took Ray away and said that after about 5 hours they will call me. I couldn't find a place for myself. I couldn't think of anything else but Ray and prayed for him. After 4 hours they called me and said that I urgently needed to find a donor. Since the tumor had sprouted with blood vessels and Ray had lost a lot of blood, so I needed to find a healthy dog weighing at least 40 kilos for Ray's blood transfusion. If I don't find a donor in the next couple of hours, then he will die. It was just a nightmare. I have not even been told before that there could be such a situation. I could find a donor in advance who would be ready for an emergency. I didn't know what to do and where to look for a donor dog. I called all the shelters, but they didn't have healthy dogs. I phoned all my friends, and in the end I found a community of donors for animals. I went after a girl with 2 German shepherds, father and son, Zivert and Chen, and father was suitable for transfusion for Ray. Ray received 600 milliliters of blood, which is the maximum that could be taken from the donor, but Ray was still bleeding and lose blood. It was terrible and painful night. I couldn't hold back my tears and regretted that I had decided on all this. After all, your dog is entirely up to you. What you do to him will be so, and I blamed myself for that. I couldn't sleep and eat. When I visited Ray, it hurt me to look at him, because he had a tube sticking out of his paw from which he had the blood taken for analysis. Blood transfusion stuff was installed. He also had a tube in his back and a tube in his throat. In the penis there was also a tube for urine output. In the side there was a tube also. It was my nightmare. I constantly thought about Ray and prayed for his recovery. Doctor said that now everything depends only on him, for how strong he will be, and Ray pulled through. He was happy when I took him from the hospital and we drove home. I couldn't hold back the tears of joy, but there were many sleepless nights ahead since I had to keep an eye on and look after Ray around the clock as he was still bleeding. Within 2 weeks, Ray received about 70 injections. Then the stitches were removed and later all the tubes were removed from his body. By the way, the tumor was weighed almost 2 kilograms. The surgeon who did the surgery said that when he pulled out the Ray's ribs, he saw that the tumor was already under the heart and lungs, and he needed to crawl into his fingers a bit and get it without damaging anything. He said that it was the most difficult surgery of his life and honestly said that he thought that Ray would not survive. But Ray turned out to be a really strong guy. Yeah, my boy. Now he's almost completely recovered. He runs, jumps, breathes deeply and enjoys life. I lost a bunch of nerves, my hair turned grey, I spent all my money on treatment, I couldn't make new videos, I didn't even touch my guitar. I couldn't do anything, because when something bad happens to your family and friends, with those whom you love, then you rethink many things and realize that everything else just doesn't matter. The main thing is that everyone is alive and healthy. Now I'm happy that I can go for a walk and run with my best friend again. I'm happy that he's alive. It's still hard for me to remember and worry about all this again, but this is the life. Then I received an invitation to visit the United States, but I decided that if Ray wasn't feeling well, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'll only go if I'm sure that Ray is feeling good, and so it happened. I had a long flight to cross the Atlantic Ocean, but there was a problem. I had never flown an airplane in my life, and this was another of my nightmares. I constantly dreamed about crashing on an airplane. But honestly, after all this situation with Ray, I already didn't care. I decided for myself that if I'll crash on an airplane, this is my fate. Let it be. But everything went fine. I really liked flying, it was something new and unusual for me. It simultaneously scares and delights you, and after about 14 hours I ended up at the San Francisco airport. It was my first flight and the first visit of the USA in my life, and I was delighted.
pzdcnahblad.
In Silicon Valley I visited the Google campus, met one of the cool guys who helped me to get my stolen channel back. I told him my sad story and he was shocked by what he heard. And now for Christmas I got a gift in the form of my YouTube channel. That is, I needed to go to the USA, to the Google office in order to regain access to my channel. Sounds at least strange. In general, I am very impressed with all these flights in the USA. You'll find a separate video on my channel about my trip to the United States. That's all the significant events that happened to me over this year. Maybe I forgot something, but if so, then this is not so important. Since I have a lot of ideas in the new year, I promise to make a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to record and release my own music, shoot some clips. I'll start making live streams on Twitch and YouTube. By the way, I already have my Twitch channel, so you can subscribe to it. I just need to figure out how it all works. I also have an Instagram where I upload videos, photos, so subscribe if you're interested. Despite the fact that a lot of bad things happened to me this year, I'm glad that I have your great support. I'm glad that I have guys who also support me on Patreon. You're a little more than 10 people and I really appreciate you. Special thanks I want to say to Andrei Vasilenko, who was the first one who supports me on Patreon, and Shane Todd, who also became one of my first patrons and has supported all this time. Thank you friends for this. I shake hands and hug each of you who are watching this video right now. Thank you so much for your support. It gives me inspiration, strength and motivates me to keep on rocking. I want to wish all your family and friends to be alive and healthy. To be surrounded only by reliable and faithful people. I wish you less stress and more relaxation, less anger and more kindness, less negative and more positive. Be happy, my friends, nothing else matters. Happy New Year and see you soon. Hug you!